Hey mamas,
Summers.
welcome back to
Hi,
another episode. I'm Jess.
I'm Erica.
and I'm also Erica.
We've got someone that's very keen to get into the conversation. So I'm gonna say what she says. So we know who you are, but tell our listeners who you are.
And that's the bit where I have to answer. Oh, I'm Erica.
Erica who?
¿Qué hasta el apellido tengo que decir?
Claro.
Ay, Dios,
No
ve. Yo
mentiras.
soy Erika Vanessa Gil Gordillo. Mucho no.
No. I was looking for Erica Inspirational Thursdays, not your
Yeah.
government name.
Okay, ready. Okay, so yeah, I'm Erica from Inspirational Thursdays. Hello, guys.
I love that.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
I love your bum bum.
Oh my god. And this is motherhood.
Mama's Code.
So we wanted to speak about raising boys. Basically, all three of us have boys, and I know that we were all we all had very strong opinions based around how our men and our boys are treated, and the whole perception there is about men in general, and the whole hashtags not all men and boys don't cry. It was about time we had this conversation, and we thought, who better than you?
Yeah, I think it's such an important conversation, especially because I've got both. I've got the girl and I have the boy. So it's one of them ones where I can actually talk on behalf of both. I'm so honored to be here, and I can't wait to actually get this conversation started.
Has your perception of how you wanted to raise your kids changed ever since you fell pregnant? So, before you were pregnant, you thought, this is how I'd raise my boys and all my girls who whatever sex I have. Did that change when you first got pregnant and found out you were having a boy?
You know what? I think I don't know about you girls, but I think we all have like an image and a thought process that you believe you're going to do certain things when you're pregnant, but when you actually have the kids, it doesn't really go down the route that you assume you would actually educate your children, because there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of challenges in life as a mother that you don't realize you're actually going to go through. So you always just focus on the stuff that you would assume you'd do well, not realizing that there's going to be obviously challenges that you have no clue how you're going to deal with. It doesn't matter where other people have given their stories, if other mums have given their experience. Every child's different. Everyone has their different ways of obviously educating their kids. Now, when I knew I was having a boy, I wasn't worried as I was when I found out I was having a girl. With my son, it was more like, I knew I was always going to be overprotective of my kids, but with my son, it was more like there's certain things that I would educate him in regards of how to be, respectful towards women, but not only that, for women to also respect him the day that he obviously has a relationship, or not even just a relationship, because the thing is, a lot of women talk about, oh, you have to educate your sons to respect our daughters, but it's not just about relationships. Like, you can go to school, work, life. It's just respecting each other in general. Now, my main focus was I didn't want my son, or I don't want my son to be in other people's mouths, like, oh, he did this to my daughter, or he broke my daughter's heart, or like, I don't want that for me to hear that that's what my son's been doing. But I'm also very aware that there's, is this word a good word to use for women? Because I do obviously rep the women's side as well, but there are some psycho women in the world that take
It's fine, we've said that on this podcast before. We're crazy bitches
fantastic.
sometimes.
Okay, cool.
Maybe not bitches, but we are we I think we all have a little crazy in us.
Yeah. So it's one of them ones where, because I've seen it, I've been around it, so it's not even like I've heard stories, I've actually seen it with my own eyes, how mad women can be, because they know that whether it's the law that has their back or just society in general, women can do whatever towards men, and they just get away with it. Men can't do the same, because it's either prison or it's just a different ball game, So the way I try to educate my son, it's not, oh, you have to respect women. No. is you have to respect everybody, and everybody has to respect you, whether you're a man, a woman, an animal, you know, like it's just respect in general. And I feel like the majority of women that have daughters, and remember guys, I've got a daughter, so I can vouch for both, but those women that have daughters, educate your daughters to respect the man, because what I've
Fucking men. Mate, this really grills me because I have seen, and it's always the women that have just daughters that will sit there and bash men. And I'm thinking, like, you have a husband, you have a dad, you have cousins, you have boyfriends. How are you sitting here? And it's like, you know, one shoe fits all. It's like, you know, with us, like in Colombia, like, oh, because one Colombia is un narcotraficante, and then does that mean all of us? Like, we always question as to why, when an English person refers to us, it's always like, oh, cocaine, cocaine. And we're like, no, we're trying to break them barriers. Women who only have daughters will sit there and bash men, and it's kind of like they're not excluding some. So it's not like, oh, some men, no, it's just like, it's like every man, every single man does this. And it's like, you know, you have to educate your son, you have to do this, you have to do. I never see women be so vocal on abusive daughters. You touching on it, that you have both. So I have a story actually, and it's like family, like within my family. So my auntie has, like, you, boy and girl. I remember we were in the car once, and mi primita was like, you know, like saying things to my cousin, like trying to trigger him, you know, like when girls just know how to push your buttons. And my cousin, like mi primo, was just like neutral, and he was just trying to like firm it and like ignore her behavior, but she kept digging and digging and digging until she got a reaction, and he slapped her. And obviously my auntie's like driving, but she's hearing all of this. When he's hit her, her husband turns around, screams at my cousin, the boy, and was like, you can never hit a girl. I was sitting next to my cousin, the girl, and all I could see is a smirk on her face. My auntie didn't say anything, but I saw her, you know, like when you can see someone's kind of like processing everything that's happening. And at that moment, she didn't say anything. Like, we got to the place, and then my auntie's like, obviously, like, I don't think she wanted to dismiss what her husband had done, because obviously my auntie's like a firm believer that, you know, boys shouldn't hit girls, and no, you shouldn't physically harm a girl or anyone really. It's kind of like what you say, you know, you get the respect you. It's like retaliation, you know. But when you kind of think of it, and this is what she said, and she sat there and she's like with tears in her eyes, and she was like, you know, as a mother, I automatically think about my son getting into like a relationship, you know, having like women co-workers, having a daughter. Like, you want them to know that physical harm or any harm for that matter is not acceptable. But she also had to ensure that her daughter knew that she can't just get away with triggering, like, she's basically instigated something and she got away with it. And it's always like, oh, the guy can't hit but you triggered this behavior. And this is what I'm a woman, you know, I don't have daughters, but you can't really say that, oh, I'm chatting shit. But I personally feel like if you as a woman, and I will stand here and I'll say it, can hit a man can hit you. 100%.
100%. I totally agree that.
You think you can lay your hands on a man, and just because you're a woman, you can't take a beating back. That's bullshit. I'm sorry, that is bullshit. Yeah. We are all here fighting for equality. And then it doesn't go both ways. So we have selective behavior. That doesn't roll with me. I'm sorry.
No, and not only that, but like in today's age, it's one of them ones where those that do have those daughters, what I've analyzed, oh gosh, this is gonna get techie. Some people are not gonna like listening to this. Oh Lord Jesus. Those that talk about, teach your sons to respect my daughters, all this nonsense talk, because it's nonsense. I'm so sorry, but it's nonsense, because you have to educate your daughter as well. They're the ones that have messed up with men. They're the ones that have actually broken hearts. And Jesus, this podcast is gonna be powerful still. So it's one of them ones where realistically, where is it coming from though? Because I know you've broken hearts. I know you've literally you've made someone psycho because of your behavior, you know. But now it's like, because you're now a mum, now you can say, oh, men have to respect women, but then you weren't respecting the man when you weren't a mum. So why all of a sudden, now that you're a mum, you can say, oh no, you teach your sons to respect my daughters. So imagine if you had a son then, because I guarantee you won't be saying, oh, respect my daughters. Of course not.
No, and the thing that triggers me is that, you know, they scream like, you know, like, and this is a conversation I had with Jess, because I was talking to my dad about this the other day as well, that we were looking on doing this episode, and my dad was like, because we were talking about, you know, abuse, like raping, you know, we've had an episode where, you know, we've had someone that's been abused come on, and, you know, we talk on all that side, right? I guarantee you, I can't get one man to come forward and tell me that he's been raped. Why? Because it will be that he's going to feel emasculated to start off with. And that's what my dad was saying. My dad was like, Erica, you won't find a man that he's been abused at home, take apart rape, like not raped, but like his woman's
emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse. He won't say it. Because again, he's going to feel like less of a man undergoing situations of abuse. Like,
you know what? Sorry to cut you, Erica. The other thing that I've noticed with that stuff, is that there's a lot of men out there that have also suffered, that are dads that have suffered so much emotionally. I'm not going to talk about the physical, because there are physical. I've seen tons of videos where they've shown where they're walking in the street. I don't know if you girls have ever watched the video. This happened on Facebook years ago, and there's a video where they show when a man's disrespecting a woman, how many people actually jump in. But when the woman's actually disrespecting the man, no one seems to jump in, no one seems to defend the man. Now, something I have noticed, and it's so heartbreaking when it comes to parenthood, because women know that the law obviously has their back to a certain degree, there's so many men out there that have not strength, but they just don't see the point of actually fighting custody to see their children, because of all the lies that are put behind all their scenarios. And there's tons of women that love to say, oh, dads don't do this, dads don't do that, but realistically, you don't even allow the dad to be around your child. And imagine having a boy as well. When a boy does something that they're not supposed to, the first thing that people say, oh, he was raised by a woman, there was no dad there, there was no dad figure there, as if to say we can't do it by ourselves. Don't get me wrong, I think having a mum and a dad is an absolute blessing. It's supposed to be like that, but I know a lot of women out there that know how to raise boys or men now, because obviously they're around my age, and they are doing amazing things. But I feel like with how it runs now, people are too focused with educate your sons, as if to say the women has nothing to play.
Like women don't abuse man, women don't cheat, women don't rape man, women aren't pedophiles. How many times do you see a school teacher having sex with a little boy? That's a pedophile. That is a pedophile. But a woman will never get like, oh no, it won't be that big of a story. But a guy being a pedophile, oh, that hits every headline. Nah, this is the thing with me. Like, it really triggers me, because, like, you know, as a mother of young boys, I know that it's my responsibility to begin shaping their values that will define them as men, right? But me as a mum of boys, I have worries of the little girls that they're gonna go after. How many times have we read, and I know we've all read, women who fake being raped, and these boys go to jail? Again, it's all on their corner. Why? Firsthand, my nephew's a friend. He was really into this girl, but this girl was like into like a hood rat. Didn't this girl tell my nephew's little friend to go and meet her, and the boy got stabbed? But because of her. Are you telling me that now? So who's going to protect the mother's son that just got stabbed?
You see,
it was your daughter that you are rooting for, and that apparently needs protection, that got this boy stabbed. So who's teaching the girls respect?
Yeah, I think with what everyone has to do as a parent, and not just as a parent, family members, those that are around your children, is to educate them to respect each other. It's not just one way for the boys and one way for the girls. It doesn't work like that, because I know I grew up around boys, and I've seen how they've been, and when a girl breaks them, how they become. So, and it takes one girl to actually break them and to make them into this savage, heartless guy that doesn't give two flying hoots. But then before that, he was completely fine. They just met the wrong woman, and then she cheated. I've had cases where the girls have cheated and abused them verbally, and then now when they're now meeting new girls, they don't have that respect because they've been broken.
That
But no
trauma.
one tends to talk about, yeah, it is trauma. If you think about it, it is, because you can't, your mentality now is, okay, I'll give you my all, but what's the point, because I did that once and then somebody broke me, so there's no point of me giving you my all now, because you're most probably going to do the same thing. It's the same how a woman thinks. If you really think about it, when women get cheated on, automatically you're thinking, oh, why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't he do that? The next fella that you have, why wouldn't he do the same thing? It's the same thing. It's just society makes it seem like men have to be educated a certain way and women have to be educated a certain way. And I
There's
find
double
that so mad.
standards. There's double
Of
standards
course.
because if a man cheats, oh, he's a man, he cheated. But if she was to cheat back, she's a hoe, and she's, you just lose all respect for her. And it's like, okay, but make it make sense then. You can't, like Erica was saying, if you want equality, okay, then we have to be equal across every topic and board and whatever you want, whatever situation. And also, when they say, oh, raise your boys to be gentlemen and stuff, okay, fine, I get it. I think we all, as women ourselves, want to raise that man that, will open doors for the woman. If he sees a stranger woman on the streets crying, we want our boys to be like, are you okay? Would you, do you need help? Or, the same way that we need to raise them to be clever and think, hold on a minute, is this a trap? Is this woman or is this girl going to get me into trouble down the line? Like, hay que ser sabios también. Like, you can't just build them to think, oh, you've got to respect girls. And in the same sentence, what happens, and I'm sure maybe Erica, you've seen the video, and I mean, me and Chris definitely saw it, but what happens when your daughter looks about 14 on the central line sucking some little kid's dick? So where, who are we blaming? The boy for making her suck the dick, or the girl for
It will always be the boy's fault. It will always be the boy's fault.
I was going to say that, unfortunately, it will always be the boy's fault.
It's stupid because it's like, fine, we're doing our job to raise our boys the way, the way we think you will be a good man. At the end of the day, they can also, have their own personalities and decisions. But then why would my son respect that girl if she's not respecting herself? And I'm not saying that the boys will think that. I'm not saying we're going to raise, tit for tat. But if you're out on the streets like this, what are you raising yourself? Fine, I'll teach my son to text back and not be a fuckboy, but then what are you doing to your girls? Not that it's my concern, but you also have to look inside and see what you're doing as a parent to your daughters as well.
We have the power to guarantee our sons won't be part of the problem, but part of the solution. But like Erica mentioned, and I'm trying to think what she mentioned. Oh fuck! When it just slips your brain.
Oh, gee.
Wait, I got it. Oh fuck! I don't have it.
She ain't got it. She forgot it. No, but wait, going back to what Jess was saying, and obviously what me and Erica were saying, the boy would always be the problem, right? What we have to remember as well, okay, is that we will educate our children, and I say children because, like I said, I've got the boy and the girl, as much as we can at home. What we also have to remember is that we don't know what type of friends they're going to have, okay? Because the majority of time,
I was literally going to say something along those lines, that we can do our part.
Yes.
But there, like you said, there will always be a girl that will break that child that you've worked so hard.
Yep.
But where do we draw the line on where it's the parents' fault? How did you raise your child? I'm raising my child as fine as I can, you know? But again,
You know
it's
what?
like
I
what you're
think,
saying, Erica, friendships,
yeah,
everything.
yeah, you know what? Like, I think, okay, so I'm a true believer, yeah, that everything happens for a reason. Okay. Now, obviously, I worked in primary school. I was working in primary school education for 6 years. Okay. That was in my son's school. Now, I had the privilege to see how school runs, how teachers are, how kids are around each other. And this is where my fear came in, right? Everyone's always quick, or no, not everyone. Women that have daughters, let me correct that. Women that have daughters are always quick to say, oh, your son's this, and that. Your son's this, and that. Not realizing, or what I actually saw with my own eyes, is that girls are so flipping fast. It's absolutely insane. My son was 5 years old. I remember like it was yesterday. And he came home and he told me a story of one of his little friends. He was 5. One of his little friends explaining this story that she saw on YouTube, not realizing, because he was mad innocent. It's only because as an adult and as a teacher, and when you talk to the safeguarding leader, you find out, oh my gosh, what this child was watching was not absolutely nothing normal. They were watching porn. But because she's 5, she can't obviously express what she's watching. She can only describe what she's seeing. She's gone and told my 5-year-old boy. My blood was boiling. It was a weekend. I had to call the teacher on the Saturday. This is what I'm saying. I was blessed the fact that I worked in the school, the same school as him. So I was friends with my son's teachers. So we had each other's numbers, and I ended up calling her. I remember literally saying, I am so sorry that it's a weekend and this is work purposes, but I cannot go to sleep. I can't even physically eat, because here's me trying to protect my son in every single corner, every single aspect, that I'm assuming that he's not ready for this, he's not ready for that. Everything in my head, everything was cuando le llegará el tiempo, you know, a su debido tiempo, right? Not realizing that when they start school, that's when everything changes. So, you know, when Jessica was asking at the beginning, when I fell pregnant, did I, you know, educate my child or assume that I was going to raise my child the way I was thinking when I was pregnant? Unfortunately not, because what we forget is all these little things that come behind being a mother, and school is a major part of a child's upbringing. So as much as we educate our child how we want to raise them, there's friends in school, there's people that you see in the streets, there's influence, because there's peer pressure, there's so many things. As a mother, the way I think, I don't know, because my son goes to secondary school next year, but the way I'm assuming that I will keep my son in so many activities after school, and like just keep him busy where he doesn't need to be entertained with the outside, like, you know, the outside world. But maybe the reason why my mindset is like that is because as a woman, with my parents, me and my sister, that's how we were raised. We didn't know what it was to go to a club or raving, when all my friends went to raving at the age of 13, 14. Because we started salsa at such a young age, we were training every single day. Like, there was an activity every single day of our lives. So we didn't have that time of like, no sé qué hacer, so let me just go out. You know what I mean? So in my head, I'm assuming that that's what I'll do with my son. Of course, it's different. It's a boy, because that's what society makes it seem like. Oh no, it's a boy, let him be free. But me making him do activities, why not? Why not? When my son came to me to the kitchen to tell me about this story, I called my colleague and I said to her, this is what she's explained. She said that she saw a woman on the wheelchair with her mouth open, and the man was weeing in her mouth. She's 5 when she's explaining this. And my 5-year-old son's explaining it to me, lo más inocente posible, because he was mad innocent. He had no clue. He was just like, oh, mom, look, this is nasty. Whatever tone of voice he had at that time, however he spoke at the age of 5. And I'm listening. I remember I locked myself in the toilet So I said to him, I was like, erase what she told you. I was like, she shouldn't be watching those cartoons. I was chatting so much rubbish to try and erase it from his head that I went into the toilet. I literally burst into tears. I started crying. Me hasta vomito, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is where this is going to get difficult as a mother, because I'm already an overthinker. So being an overthinker, and I don't mind saying it obviously in the podcast, being an overthinker is not, it's something that I'm trying to control now at the age of 31. But I only realized a year ago that I'm really bad with overthinking. I've improved a lot. I've been able to do things, you know, to help me out. But when
I
it
think
comes
it's
to
an
my,
Erica thing.
is
I
it?
100% overthink. I can't
When
sleep.
it comes to my kids,
Yeah, like when something pops up, I overthink like 1,000 different scenarios, and sometimes
it's
I
really
can't sleep
bad.
because I'm still thinking up like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is gonna happen, and then this.
Yeah. I remember I went into the toilet, I was throwing up, I was crying, and then I grabbed my phone. I said, look, this and this was said. She was like, Erica, as soon as you go into work on Monday, I need you to run to the safeguard leader. You need to sit down. I'm letting you know now, she will have a conversation with Jalen. My son's 5. Why are you questioning my son? I don't want no one questioning my son. But this teacher, like, she's so on point. She knows her role on point, that she knows how to talk to kids. Obviously, she's a safeguarding leader, so she knows exactly how to speak, what kind of like dialogue, like, you know, cómo comunicarse con un niño de 5 años, because obviously every year is a different type of way how you speak. But at the age of 5, they're really small. So yeah, like, they warned me, they told me that she was going to speak to them, but yeah, it turns out that the little girl was watching porn on their dad's iPad.
See, like me, like we had an episode on Mama's Code about, you know, like social media, and we agreed that plays a role on how your kids are educated. We said, you know, a child that's 5, 6, 7 should not have a phone. They shouldn't. Who are they going to call? You've got your friends, you see them every bloody day. Why do you need a phone? And
Babe,
like,
I'm in that now with my 9-year-old. Well, sorry, my 10-year-old. He talks about a phone. I'm like, for what?
yeah, like, and it's like you say, like, you want to kind of keep everything at the pace that they're at. You don't want to madurar los biches, like we said in the episode, you know. It's like I said, I kept mentioning, because my nephew, he was 5 and he was playing Call of Duty, and I always disagreed with that, because I was like, that's killing. You're killing people. How are you allowing a child? Is that me? Like I said on the episode as well. Would you allow your child to watch pornography? No, because there's an age range. I know if there's a film 12 and my son's 6, I'm not going to watch that film in front of him. No matter how it's not too violent, no, because in the sex scenes, I'm going to have to say, Joel, close your eyes. What is the point? You're already putting that intriguing behavior, and they're going to want to peek, and then they're going to become sneaky about it, and it's just like, why? Like, learned behavior is just, and I like I said, I hate being the prude mom that keeps my son from engaging, you know, with like all these new things. Like, I was one of the last in my friends to get my child a Nintendo, because I always thought, well, you know, I need him to read first and concentrate. And, you know, I was very on point with these things. Like, he doesn't need an Xbox. He doesn't need a PlayStation. Like, he's too young for these things. And I used to feel sorry, Erica, because sometimes he would go to his friend's house and they'll know how to play with all these aparatos, and he'll be like looking at me like, oh, I don't know how to play. And you feel guilty. You feel so guilty, because it's like, it's not like I can't provide for him. I can get him anything he wants. But again, todo a su edad. Like, I can't just freely give shit to my son without him earning something. Like, what principles are you teaching him?
No, and it's not only that. Yeah, you said something in regards of like, todo llega a su your tiempo, todo a su edad, and I stand by that. Now, obviously, I can't remember how old both of your kids are, and Jessica's. Are they in primary yet? Is Joel in primary?
School. Yeah.
What year is he in?
Year 1.
Okay, so he's still really small. But you're only starting to experience the primary school type of life, because I'm telling you, there's so many things that you're going to encounter that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, ¿qué pasó aquí? Like, obviously with Jess, she still has to go through that oh my gosh, se me olvidó la palabra.
Transition phase.
Eso, yeah, through that transition. Yeah, through that transition, right? But I had the same mentality as you, Erica. I had the same thing where, no, my son will know this at a certain age, when he's this age, when he's that age, not realizing what's happening in school. At the age of 8, my child had to know how his sister was born, because he had an argument with his school friend. I remember I was in my, I was, this is what I mean. These stories are actually wild. Like, and it's all through school, bro. Like, it's not even like in my house. It's all through school. I remember I was driving back. I picked him up from school, and I was in the car with my sister, and we're driving. I'm driving home now, and my son's gone and said, "Oh, mom, I had an argument today in school." He's 8, yeah, and I was like, "Y por qué? ¿Qué pasó? Like, what happened?" And he was like, "Oh, mom, because so and so kept saying that, oh, babies come out through your vagina, but I know that they come through the belly. That's how Sarai came in. They cut your belly, didn't they?" I took a deep breath. I looked at my sister. I was like, right, the conversation's gonna have to happen, because the thing that I have to remember is that I don't want now my son having these arguments and then he's looking like the dumb one, because realistically you're gonna look like the dumb one, because it is true. You know what I mean? So I I parked up the car so quick. I was breathing hardcore, and I was thinking, right, at the age of 8, my son's gonna find out that his sister came out through my vagina. Great. Isn't this beautiful? So I was like, all right, easy. I remember coming out of the car. I told him to come out of the car. My sister came out of the car, and I was like, right, let me tell you something. I was like, you both of you were right in the argument. I was like, there's something called C-section. It's a cesarean, right? When women cannot have a natural birth, they have to cut the woman's belly, and that's how a baby comes out. However, your sister didn't come out like that. I had a natural birth, so she came out from my vagina. Yeah, that's how I said it. I said it so like that. No, like, I didn't sugarcoat it. I didn't go like, I didn't cry. Literalmente, como se lo estoy diciendo aquí, hoy en día a ustedes dos, I was like, she came out of my vagina. Like, there's no easier way of saying it, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, they've already told you in school, so I might as well just tell you it's not a lie. But I did say, when I said it to him, and this is what I noticed, when I said it to him, that was the first and last time we ever had a conversation about it. There was no like, oh my gosh, and how, and oh my gosh, mom. That he didn't feel disgust. He didn't react in a way that I thought he was going to react. He was calm. He's like, all right then, mum. So I guess we both won then. And I was like, yeah, you both won. You won, she won, everyone's happy. And then we kept it moving. I remember I messaged my partner and I said, oh my gosh, babes, Shayla knows how Sarai came to the world. And he was like, yeah, but see, he's more chilled, you know? So he's more like, yeah, babe, it's bound to happen. It's part of life. I was like, he's 8. He shouldn't know this. In my head, he would have known at the age of 10 if I could possibly wait. But 8, because I've got a two little fast girl that wants to be talking. Like, what? So cool. Left that. He's going to year 6 now. In year 5, they had their body change class, right? Which in our time, it was called sex education. Girls, I'm not going to lie to you. I was crying the whole day. I was having panic attacks days before, because the good thing about my school, or where my kids go, is that they prep you for this stuff, and they also tell you, they do, like, because obviously it was COVID times, they send like a video of what it is that they're going to watch and what they're going to talk about. So I sat in the living room. They were both in school. This was alone time. I sat in my living room, put the video thing, the 2 videos, because it was 2 videos that they were going to show that day. I started watching it and I was like, oh my gosh, my son's going to find out how they were made. That's all. Look at Jessica laughing. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my gosh, my son's going to find out. What the hell? Like, what am I going to do?
Can I just say something? And also, you probably thought, shit, there's no more like, oh, you walked into the room and we're just playing here. Like, now you know that, now you possibly know that these positions that we're doing is not playing.
Hi, let's go better. Oh my God, I forgot this is a podcast. I feel like I'm just having a normal call with you guys. Listen, I was sitting down, put my laptop on, I started watching it, and I was sobbing. My blood was hot, everything was hot, and I was just like, he's my baby. Why does he need to know this now? He should. I remember that I told you guys that I'm an overthinker. So as an overthinker, so Erica, you will experience this. You will. Like, I can't even like say you won't. You're going to experience this. I mean, obviously, de aquí a allá, si ya mejorar el overthinking, fantástico. Pero si no le ha llegado, mija, de una vez, I'm telling you, my partner was at work. I had no one to talk to. I ended up, so I've got a girl group. There's 7 of us, 7 of my tight girls. And I remember I audio noted them. And I said, girls, I need you lot's help. I was like, my brain's doing mad, because they're very aware about my overthinking and situation. I was like, my brain's doing a lot. I was like, he's my baby. He doesn't need to know this now. I was like, I was expecting to have this conversation with him literally a month before him touching secondary school. A month, you know, before touching, 2 weeks before starting secondary school, because I know secondary school is a different ball game. I was like, but not now. I was like, at the time he was only 9. So I was like, not at the age of 9, like he shouldn't know any of this stuff. Like now I can't even watch normal TV because now I know that he knows what it is. Like, you know, like before he would just watch something and he wouldn't even have a clue what was going on. But now he knows exactly what's going on. For me, it was just like, he's my baby and he shouldn't know this stuff. And then, like Jess said, I started panicking. La cama. I was like, ahorita que yo no puedo hacer nada because he's, parce, ¿qué? What?
I bet you'll cry more so because of like you can't do anything sneakily.
No,
I don't think
I'm just checking his zipper. Are you sure, mummy?
oh my God. No, you know what? Yeah. For me, it was just like, I had in my head, I had a feeling when he was going to know these conversations, you know? And these are the things that you cannot control. And this is where we go back with, you know, raising our children in today's society. We can do as much as we can at home. And it's something that my parents have always put in my brain cells, like, de la casa pa dentro is whatever we say, you know, like we know exactly how you are, we know what we've raised, pero ya afuera, de la puerta para afuera, ya es decisión suya como usted quiera, obviamente, tomar las decisiones de lo que usted vaya a hacer, in regards of whatever it is, because you're not inside the house no more. You're not going to be with your parents. You're with your friends. Some of them are very crazy. I've got like some crazy ass friends that I love to bits. And woof, like, if you may had influence, like, you know, being influenced by them, blimey, I'll be all like, hey, live in the bed, like, you know, the crazy ass.
That's another point you've touched, Erica, where we get influenced so quick by friends. And it's that peer pressure, and especially boys. Like, and I've had this conversation with like parents at my son's school. You know, there's a parent that he's like, oh, like he's Colombian, and I think it's like that old mentality because he's like on the oldish side. He's like 50 something, and obviously his son's in the same age, same year group as Joel, and he's always like, oh no, if he like falls out of line, I'll take him Colombia and I'll just encerrarlo en la finca. And I'm like, that's what my mom used to say to me, like, that shit doesn't work. If you take your son to Colombia, he's gonna become super worse. La libertad que ellos tienen en Colombia. Also, he's going on like, in Colombia, you can beat a child. You can't anymore.
No,
you can't. So it's like, what are you gonna go do there? He's like, oh yeah, ben la finca. And I'm like, no, like, to be realistic, like, you cannot expect your child to be the goody two shoes that you think your child is going to be. Your child is going to face pressure over pressure, because if this little group of friends, he wants to fit in, and if not, your child's going to get bullied. So
yeah, for boys, I think it's worse, 100%. 100%.
He's the cool kid, or he's going to be the little neat on the side that, you know, but you kind of have to teach your child to be like in the middle. Like, you know, you don't get too involved with like, I'm going to, you know, because my friend beat up that kid, I'm going to go beat him up. No, you need to teach your child to be clever,
and
you know, clever.
Well, do you know what? That's something I was going to say, that a lot of us like to forget the society and generation we are living in. A lot of us had great childhoods, and a lot of us were beat with la chancla, and no, you're not going out, even if you're cleaning and scrubbing the floors on your knees. That worked for our parents at the time. Some of the things we hated, and, you know, some of the things are now part of our trauma. And again, these are traits that we need to break away from the way that we were parented, even though it worked. And, you know, I like to say that us three here right now are great women and we turned out pretty good, but it was different times. And you also, as much as you want to raise your child, again, my child is only 2, I can only speak from what I see and, you know, my perspective at the moment. But although you want to raise your child in the best way possible, and, you know, this is the good way and just the good way, and, you know, perfect this way, this way, this way, you can't raise them to be naive. You have to raise them to be streetwise. You need to raise them, like Erica and Ollie constantly bully their eldest, obviously in a good way, but it's their
Oh my gosh,
whole-
social
Don't make it sound
services.
like that.
no, but
No,
it's
but we
their
bully
whole-
him so he can be prepared. So if he gets bullied in
yeah,
school,
he'll be
he's
like
strong
That's
inside.
nothing, like your mom, like basically this is shit. But the thing is, in such a way that it's like, you know what, I get it. You're building that tough skin on me, and I know that you're just, you know, being silly, but it's that inner voice that we're creating within our children, and you can't raise them to be naive. You can't raise them to be like, oh, you know, you can't hit a woman or this and that, because what happens if tomorrow they find their situation where this woman has a machete and is gonna cut them up because she's a psychopath, or there's this massive fight, and so he's not gonna know what to do, because in his head he hears his mom and his dad say, no, you should never hit a woman. At the same time, he's on edge of being killed by so, you know, it's that thing again with bullying, with pressure. You know, the the Switch situation that you presented. You knew how Joel felt, you know, he would see it and he'll be like, oh, like, that's so cool, but I don't know how to play with it. And you started becoming aware that, you know what, all the kids nowadays have all these gadgets. And although we don't want to be those parents that are their kids stuck to their screen, because we still want to teach them morals, values, and we still want to raise them in, no, you don't need a screen to have fun, you know. But we still have to be conscious of you can have it a little bit, but I need you to be like this first. I need you to, you know, earn it. And if you want to play, fine, we can play for a little bit, but you need to be on top of what and how you need to be in this house and as a person. Again, me and Erica have spoken about this before, that we need to raise our kids to be leaders and to be strong-willed, not be easily influenced, because
100%.
Fortunately for us, we were raised in a generation where we didn't have social media, where we didn't have to look at other people's lives to feel a certain way, where we didn't
valid and stuff,
find validation in what other people thought. We were just like I freaking had braces. My fringe was like, I looked like literally Betty La Fea, and I was like, no boy will ever like me. But I didn't care. I was still being a punk, and I was like, I don't care that boys don't like me, you know. If it's that way, I'm still having fun playing football in the car park with my 2 cousins, you know. I didn't have that girly side to me. However, my sister now, she's just turned 19, and she from a very young age was just constantly, her self-esteem was on, like, there was no self-esteem because of this, because there was a perception of, these are the women that we like, this is how you need to be. You can't have a great personality, is not going to get you anywhere if you don't have the looks. And that's in theory, like, look at, I don't know if you guys are watching Love Island, but look at Hugo. He's such an amazing guy. Like, he's
I
so
stopped
sweet.
watching. I literally said
He's
yesterday
the
I'll stop
sweetest
watching
guy.
it.
And some of the comments that I've seen on social media are like, oh, you know, Hugo, he's such a lovely lad, but he's so ugly and he's too nice. And it's like, okay, well, which one is it? His mum clearly raised him to be a very nice guy, but that's an issue.
Yeah,
but
Telling me that I
but
should
this
raise
is
this
the
guy.
problem, though.
So
But this
what
is
the
the
fuck are we
problem.
doing?
This is the problem. This is what you hear women. They say, oh, raise your sons, raise your boys, make them respect women, da da da. But when they are respecting you, when they are treating you nice, when they are being gentlemen, you still want to mug them off. And then when they break, then you want to say something more. So it's like there's no win-win here. So my only advice is, like, each to their own. Educate, whether you've got a son or you've got a daughter, educate them properly, respect one another. That's the only thing that you have to put in your head. Not because I've got a daughter, then all of a sudden all your sons have to be respectful towards my daughter. No, it doesn't work like that. And that's what everyone as a parent needs to put in their brain cells. And like you said with the when you was explaining about Erica and the Nintendo situation, we went through the same phase. Everyone around Jalen's age, they all had Fortnite. We didn't fall into that peer pressure. We didn't fall because so and so had Fortnite. Now my son has to have it. No, it took us a while to give him the Nintendo, and he was pretty old by the time that he got the Nintendo compared to his other friends. Same with Fortnite. But I think the other thing that's really like a blessing in itself is the fact when both parents are on the same wavelength, because it's very difficult if you're not on the same page. And I know that can tend to happen, like it tends to happen in a lot of relationships where women say one thing and then the man says the other, or men say the other and then the women don't agree. And this is where problems start. This is where you start to fail as a parent, because you're both not on the same page. We focus so much on like, oh, men have to be educated, boys have to be raised a certain way, girls have to be raised in a certain way, not realizing that we are a massive problem as well. We need to know exactly what we want for our kids and how to work together, whether you're in a relationship or not, because that's where people get confused. They think that only because you're in a relationship you can raise children. That is so wrong. I know a lot of people that are not together and they are fantastic at co-parenting. They both have their mentality that they want to raise good children. So not only focus on obviously raising your daughters correctly and your sons correctly, but also work as a team, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are bringing the next generation, and whatever generation our children will bring, you know, it's a route, it's la ruta de algo. We were raised a certain way that we cannot raise our kids how we were raised. Nowadays, if you saca la chancla or la correa or el palo, la cuchara de palo, like straight away people are quick to be like, oh, social service on your case. The only good thing is that I had again, because I worked in the education sector, I had the training in regards of safeguarding children. And one of my main questions were, and again, I don't hit my children, but one of my main questions were, can we hit our children? Because I remember I was a little cow when I was like 6 or 7. I remember I said to my mom, oh, you can't touch me, or I'll call the police. I was like, ¿qué? Llama a la policía, le tiro este control a la policía y la casco delante de la policía. Can you imagine? So I was thinking, I don't want my son el día de mañana que me venga a decir eso, porque boy, I was so rich. But I ended up asking this tutor, and literally she said, oh, no, you can hit your child. I was like, yeah, but how much? She was like, however much you want, as long as you don't leave bruises, then social services don't get involved. Can you imagine?
But it's that we've also touched on it, is like, as a parent, and I think this is where we mistake, like, well, that's what Jess was kind of saying, that we have to break the barriers on how we were raised compared to how we want to be raised. Because I personally believe, Erica, and I think we've all been there, kids are fucking annoying. They test boundaries beyond measures. There's times, and you know, I've always said it, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. I'm not one to hit my child, but there is times that I have hit them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Maybe out of place, you know, sometimes. But if I've hit them out of place, or even if not out of place and they deserved it, I'm quick to apologize. And I explain why. I'm 30 years old and I have never, ever received an apology from my mum. My mum said that I deserved every single pillar that, and this is a problem that our parents, because our parents never apologized to us. They didn't know the word sorry. They just always fought, and they have that mentality, I'm big, you're small, and there's nothing you can do about it.
But it's a problem now, and this is why I said at the beginning, like, and well, obviously not every parent speaks English in our generation. Our parents, not everyone speaks English, but I'm going to say it in English and Spanish, right? It's really important, those that surround our children, to have your back, whether you're in the good or in the wrong, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to work as a team. You don't want your child to grow up and say, oh, I'm just going to go to mi abuela because I know that my abuela will tell my mum off because she told me off, Like, it tends to happen. Like, because obviously our parents, obviously for a certain way how they educate us, with their grandchildren, son super soft, like they're really alcahuetas. And again, it's the norm. You hear it all the time. But what they don't realize is that, unfortunately, you usted alcahuetear tanto, I'm then looking like I'm the bad one, and I'm the one that has issues towards my kids, and you know what I mean? So, and now I'm going to say that in Spanish. Que si vamos a tener hijos, que por favor que todos tratemos de ser unidos, familia, al igual que los amigos, las amistades que estén alrededor de nosotros, porque God, this is really hard. Porque lo que sí me he dado cuenta es que cuando se vuelven abuelos, como obviamente nos educaron de alguna forma, cuando ya ven a los nietos, o sea, es normal que sean alcahuetas, que, que si el niño dijo, ay, yo quiero, entonces se lo dan, o que, ay, si lo regañaron, no lo regañen. No, hay que estar trabajando juntos porque at the end of the day, nosotras somos las que estamos sufriendo. Tristemente, it's always the mother that always suffers anyway. Like, we always get el bulto de agua fría ahí encima de que, ay, usted la mala, usted por qué le habla así, why'd you talk to him like that, why'd you talk to her like that, and it's like, wait, hold on a minute. I know that if I was that age and I spoke to you the way my daughter was speaking to me, you would have slapped me. Don't even go there. But because it's not your child and it's now your grandchild, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, let's be soft. Don't speak to him like that. Don't speak to her like that. And then you always look like the bad one. So for me, it's like, I think it's important, not only in relationships, but friendships and also family, who's around your child. Choose wisely. Who do you want around your kids? Because we can have really good friends, but sometimes those friends, the way they raise their kids, is not what you want around your children. I've become really antisocial in a lot of areas since I became a mum, because there's certain things that I just don't want around my kids. And it might be like, I know Erika, it's okay. I have to look after what's mine because there's a certain method, there's a certain way how my kids speak, how we educate our kids. The fact that manners is very important. I am very much for the please and thank yous. I am very much como está bien, gracias, usted type of vibe. I am very much like that. I know not everybody's like that, and that's okay. But the way I build my kids, it has to be like that. Only because I think it's just beautiful seeing a child that, has mannerisms. And that's just a me thing. And very much my partner as well.
The hitting thing, yeah, that you touched on, and, you can hit your child. I think that whole, so social services doesn't get involved. And we touched on it on the other episode, was that, as a parent, now that we're conscious parenting, yeah, and we've brought things that maybe our parents did with us and we're trying it with our kids, but kind of tweaking it a little bit. And we always said, you should never, ever hit your child con rabia.
Never.
Because usted se le da la mano.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the same way when you're arguing, like, like with your partner. Let's say you're like, and you start swearing.
Yeah.
And you say things that you don't want to say, and then how do you retract from that?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with your kid. How would you hit your kid con rabia and then retract? And you're teaching your kid that it's okay to hit, and then you can go and say sorry afterwards, just like that.
And I stand by that. I very much I literally bang that out with my friends. I say I'm not the type of mother that if I'm angry I cannot hit. For me it's like, because I always get questioned. Like, some of my friends are like, "Ay, yo le hago el palo de la cuchara de palo, like wooden stick thing, wooden spoon thing." I'm like, nope. And they were like, "No, mija, no más veo ese berrinche yo de una." I was like, "Yeah, but that's you." Then one of them, I was laughing because she there's something to do with the Bible, there's a scripture or something like that, where you have to correct your child with, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful with any religions up in here. Oh gosh, yo siempre meto la pata. But one thing I remember,
cancel culture is a thing,
No, literally, yeah. When she said that to me, we started laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah, babe, because we don't sin every single day." Yeah, okay. So now apparently I'm sinning because I'm not grabbing the wooden spoon. Are you serious right now? Like, I was like, please, I can't. We're not even gonna go there. I was like, a mí me pueden traer todos los scriptures de cada libro que existe en el mundo. No one's telling me to grab a wooden stick to hit my child. And one thing I am very blessed is that my partner also believes that objects, we're not involved. We don't do this whole, like, the belt, the shoe, la chancla, la correa de palo, que la ramita esa, que hay una ramita, yo no sé qué pringa. I'm not about that.
You know my dad, I said we had it tough. My dad, sometimes Leo's having like a tantrum and he's like, "Oh, just get la pringamota, vaya al farm, get una pringamota."
La pringamota, no.
And I'm like, I'm waiting for him to like laugh and be like, "No, I'm joking." Because I mean, most of the time he's always like, "No le pegue, no le grite." Like, he's all about gentle parenting with his grandson, but with me, however,
it was a different ball game,
mate.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but all these objects things is just a big no-no for me. Now, with me in regards of hitting, I cannot do it when I'm angry. It's just I didn't have to hear it from a psychologist or see it in books or read it. It's just something in me. It's just I will not hit out of anger. De pronto dio palmadita que no tengo rabia, no que tenga para que lleve. Yeah, 100%. I never had to experience that with my son. In all honesty, he was an absolute angel. He literally lied to me what it was to be a parent. My daughter has taken canas upon canas. I think I've told Jessica, I think I've told both of you, God knows how many times, that her attitude is absolutely wild. But in saying that, I laugh because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing me.
Mate, me as well with my second one. And I feel like I've learned parenting, like just like you say, you learned it with Jalen.
Yeah.
I feel the same with Joel. Like I did all the mistakes I had to, and now with Caden, he does things, and I'm thinking I would have hit Joel because of this, and I'm just like thinking like, oh, you're so cute. Like, what is wrong with you, Erica?
No, and the thing is, obviously, when my son's 10 and he clocks these things, he'll be like, oh, mom, but you allowed her to do this, da, da, da. And I'm just like, oopsie. I'm like, yeah, pero es que apenas tiene 3 años. Like, I'm just trying, I'm just raising her. Like, you know, she's just starting. You already know. It was like, yeah, okay, mom. You know? So, like, he clocks it and he's 10. But this is what I'm saying. Every child's different. And I'm blessed that I've got the boy and the girl. So when I hear women just talking about, oh, raising girls, raise your sons properly, I'm just like, are you mad? I was like, you better raise your daughter properly, because two things now is coming from you, and I know what you've done.
And toxic mothers are just as damaging as absent fathers, because if you're a mother raising a girl or a boy, whatever, on your own, but you still have this toxic negative, like toxicity, that he say, you can either go one way or the other. Whether you're raising a girl or a boy, you can raise your daughter to think, you know what, men are trash because whatever happened to you, and you know, fuck men, the same way as you can raise your son to be like arrogant, all about him, selfish, because he's going to be mummy's boy.
Yo lo único que touch on that it's cultural habits as well.
Yeah.
It's learned behavior, like we've said, you know, like we come from a culture that is very machista, you know, the man, like it's like very macho man, yeah. And I'm sure that within our culture, I've had it firsthand, you know, like I've had someone in our family tell my children that boys don't cry. Like, oh, no llore, que los niños no lloran. And I'm just like, nah, not over here. Boys do cry. And do you know what triggers me about that phrase? It's like emotions are like the essence of what makes us human.
100%.
When your little boy comes to you crying because, you know, he's dropped and he's hurt, how do you dismiss that? If you were to drop and it hurt you, you probably cry. I mean, if I look at the shit that I cry for, like I cry for like a program on the TV, why can't my son cry for whatever feelings he's feeling?
You know what? My thing that gets me angry when I hear this phrase, or boys don't cry, or boys shouldn't cry, or man up, because that's one sentence that I absolutely hate. When I hear people say to kids or to boys, oh, man up. No, it's not about man up, because if I literally, the way I see it, yeah, is you have a problem, as in the adult. I was like, you've got a problem because you can't talk about your emotions. So now you want to raise other kids or teach other boys not to have those emotions. In today's age, it's important for those emotions, and I cannot stress enough for my son to talk to me about everything, girls. Like, I cannot stress it enough. I told Jalen to tell me literally everything, from what he's doing as soon as he walks inside the school, to what he's doing when he's eating, to what happens during break time, to what did you do when this and this happened. Every single little detail. And for some people it might be like, ay, no, pero está tan exagerada, déjalo respirar. Like, no, it's so important. But my fear, and the reason why I'm so like that, is because when these men are turning 45, 50 years old, they're committing suicide, my friend, all because they
even
weren't
before
able
that.
to
If you look at
now, it's really bad.
The statistics of suicide, men are flying high.
Super high. And I literally touched on, well, we didn't talk about that, but I had funny enough, and we're going way off topic here, but I had a chat with two men, last week in my Inspirational Thursdays. I know you guys tuned in. And it was literally two black men that they started these podcasts for men, because you don't hear black men talk about their emotions. It's like they're built with these armors that they cannot show emotions. As soon as they show an emotion, somehow you are weak, not realizing that you are stronger of a man because you know how to communicate your emotions. Like, you know how much respect women would have towards a man that can actually communicate emotions.
Some women, some.
Correct.
Let's not forget, there's those women who have been raised by idiots who want the bad guy, the guy that doesn't really moan, the tough guy, you know, and it's just like, oh, you know, he's too sweet or he's too gentle. I want a man that's tough, and that, you know, we have women like that. So let's
100%. No, 100%. But with that, in saying that, it's so important for these men to actually talk. And if we don't start raising our kids to know from early age that you can talk, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem if they don't know that from now. Even in schools, like, I remember a teacher, because I've always said to Jalen, if someone touches you, you do not come home with a bruise. You better tell me that this other child has a bruise. And I stand by that, because I can't be in school to defend my child as much as I want to. It's impossible. It's not part of life. He has to build his own character. He has to be able to defend himself as much as he can, you know? Obviously, I'll jump in when it's necessary. But I remember a teacher approached me and she said to me, Erica, you can't be saying that to your son. I was like, pardon? I was like, what do you mean I can't be saying that to my son? I was like, you know how many times he's come to me and he's told me that the teacher has told him that he has to apologize to someone that's literally doing something to him? I was like, nah. I was like, it doesn't work like that. And what he said is correct, because he literally said to the teacher, he was like, Miss, the only reason why I defend myself is because my mom's always taught me that, you know, if someone tries it on me, I have to I'll tell them to stop, and if they carry on, then I have to now defend myself, because at the end of the day, all the teachers do is say, oh, say sorry to each other. I was like, you lot forget that I've worked in a school. I remember saying this to my colleague. I was like, you're forgetting that I work in a school. You're forgetting that I see what you lot do at the playground. A child will go to you, moan to you, tell you so-and-so did this, and what do? You dismiss it, or you call the other child, you tell the child, oh, say sorry to so-and-so, and then it's done and dusted. There's no consequences. You guys don't go over the board with this. I was like, but then when a psycho mum comes in now and starts defending her child, then she's the problem. Because unfortunately, that's how we're seen. We are the problem if we come into school and defend our children. No, it's because clearly some teachers don't know how to deal with this stuff. They dismiss it so quick. Like, for me, I always said that, I was saying it to my partner the other day, we need more male role models in primary schools. I know we've got them in secondary schools, but we need them in primary schools. But at the same time, I also think, like, okay, if we have male role models in primary school, how would they be like, though? Because I would hate to know that there's a male teacher quick to be dismissing my child because he's a boy. Oh, man up, man. Like, it's fine. Just leave it. Just move. You know, like, these are the type of overthinking type of brain cells that will start to trigger my brain. Because how would you, obviously, as women, you know, like, you start to question all these little things. Like, would you dismiss that? Would you approach it in a correct way? Like, what would you do? Because there's a lot of men out there that would cover themselves, would protect themselves through not dialogando las emociones, communicating their emotions, and they feel like it's the right way, and unfortunately it's not.
And the thing is with this, Erica, it's the thing that our children get so confused, because you can be, you know, very attentive to his emotions, right? But you get like people like the teachers that, you know, dismiss all this behavior, and you get other members of the family, you know, throw in left, right and center like comments that are not necessary, right? So imagine your child's confusion when he's told not to feel this way. He doesn't learn how to express his feelings in a healthy way. No matter how hard you try, he will always get that negativity from somewhere else. And as a result of that, he pents up his emotions and to appear tough. And as he grows, this is where we lose track, and he falls into this deeper tough guy thing so he can fit into this society that we live in. Because a nice guy doesn't fit into our society.
Unfortunately, no.
again, like Jess said, look at Ugo, national television, and everyone's like bashing him because he's a nice guy, and apparently he's the ugly guy. And it's the same. They always, and I think it's like, and I saw, Erica, that you posted about Love Island like being like very fake. If you look
yesterday
back in the years,
it.
Yeah, if you look back in the years, we had Dr. Alex. Was it Alex?
Yes.
Jess?
Yeah.
Again, Ugo is Dr. Alex.
Oi, oi.
And it's like, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah.
But there's always like they go for like very like the same looking characters, and it's like, what are you teaching children? Like, and this is the thing. Another thing we haven't touched on is the generation that our kids are growing up with are moving way too fast. Like,
and
when
that's
we
why
were 15, we were 15, I probably had no makeup on my face, and I probably was stuffing my bra with tissue. Now you see 15-year-olds, like Jess and I have seen 15-year-olds, and we literally send each other pictures, and they look older than us. And I'm
no, they do. And this is where, as a mother of boys, this is where our fear comes in, because that's where the whole underage starts coming in. Oh, I didn't know. No, but he did know. He did know I was 15. No, but he didn't, because you would have literally gone and said, oh, no, I'm 20. You look like a 20-year-old with all the makeup and them lips que parecen salchichas, Richmond. Like, it's absolutely wild. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and I fully said, I was like, I'm not watching Love Island. I literally decided last night, I said, what am I doing? I was like, I know sometimes we need like rubbish TV, because I call it rubbish TV, yeah? But with somebody like me that I really stand by the whole, I'm so done with with fake stuff. Like, we've already got social media to show so much fakeness, and now we still have the TV to do that. I was like, what is going on with our children? What are they going to end up seeing? Absolutely a load of crap. Like, sometimes I literally say to myself, I'm glad that my boy just wants the Nintendo. I'm not even gonna lie. It's getting to the point where me no queda con el Nintendo because lo que hay en la televisión es pura mierda. You know? Queda con su Fortnite. Your little tutu little breaky dance there, because all you're seeing is these women looking like absolute plastic, don't have absolutely nothing in their brain cells. We're still not seeing diversity on TV, unfortunately, because todo de Black Lives Matter y todos los movements que se hayan, you don't see any of this on TV. It's like the one odd couple.
No, like they dash in like two black people and they think, wow, diverse. Yet all the girls are like blonde, and then you have that one black girl standing out.
Can
like,
you imagine?
How is that diversity?
It's too
and it's too much. And it's like, you know what triggers me is like they do this, and they add that one black couple, and that black guy doesn't even go for the black girl, because the black guy will always go for like the white guys. And it's like, so how are you being diverse and the white guys won't be interested in the black girl? So are you making it difficult to show society how difficult it is for the black girl to fit in with all of these?
So that's what I'm saying. With the generation that's coming up, is absolutely wild. Like, they have nothing compared to what we grew up with, and it's one of them ones where it is very scary, but at the same time, it's like, if we know what we're doing and we're trying our best to, educate, because there's no book out there to teach us what is to be a correct mom or what is to be a correct dad. That's impossible. There's no degree to educate you how to be the right parent. But if in su cabeza, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. In my head, I'm doing the right thing. That's all you can actually, and I know a lot of people will say, oh no, but your child can't be your friend. No, I want my child to know that he has a friend in him as well. As much as I'm his mother, he should know that I'm also his friend, to know everything. That if he needs advice, he comes to me, not his friends. That he needs support, he comes to me, not his friends. Because the way things are right now, I'm worried what friendships are going to be built. I'm absolutely worried.
Also, may my son never swear on my life when lying to his little girlfriend. This has been a great chat, very due. But we have come to the end of it, and obviously we know you've got to go rush off to work.
I've got to go work now. Yeah, I was getting changed while you lot were talking.
So we like to end the episode on a golden tip, and obviously based on the conversation we've had today on motherhood, or anything you would like to add to the episode.
Educate your children, whether it's a boy or a girl. Teach them to respect everybody. We're not raising, and I think Jessica said this, or you both said it, we're not raising genders, I mean, well, just like, yeah, it was that you said, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not raising genders, we're raising humans.
There we go. Yeah, we're not raising genders, we're raising humans. So focus on that and stop this whole thing about educate your son this, your son that, because you have no clue what us mothers that have sons feel like. You have no clue what we have to think on an everyday basis in regards of the peer pressure that they're going to face, in regards of that we know there's going to be a girl out there that's going to break our children. We're already aware of that. So it's just being mindful, because already there's so much toxic stuff in the world that we don't need to add more on those mothers out there. And I say mothers because I'm not mocking fathers, but fathers tend to, you know, block it as much as they can. But we mothers, we feel every single type of emotion, and we're very vocal in regards of how we feel. So just be mindful in regards of what you put up there on social media.
Also, wait, can I just add, before the girl mum police come after us, we're not dismissing that there are some guys that are pricks, you know, but we have to be conscious of knowing how these guys got this way. And it's not always just, that it was the mum's fault and this just made this man. This guy has gone through a lot to get to this place. Maybe he was born like that, because let's face it, some men are just trash, but it doesn't mean all guys are trash.
No, and also raise your girl with self-love, self-respect, dignity, know what she's looking out for. If that's not, if he's not picking up, okay, move. Don't stay there just because of comfort. Don't stay there just because, oh my God, it's my first boyfriend or whatever. But yeah, I think it goes both ways at the end of the day. And like you said, we're doing the best as mothers. We've never done this before. Each year is a new challenge, it's a new learning curve for us. So thank you so much, Erica. And where can everyone find you on Thursdays?
On Erica's Inspirational Thursdays.
And that's on Instagram, guys. She has lives every single Thursday, 8 p.m. with inspirational people that are doing bits for our generation, positive things.
Mama's Code out. Mwah.
Mama's Code.